There you are.
Okay, right, I think we're just about to get ready to get this underway. So we're just going to do a quick audio check and a platform check. We are streaming to two sources. That is going to be YouTube and LinkedIn. Okay, let's just stand by for confirmation. And LinkedIn. Okay, right. In that case then, let's get underway. Right, welcome everybody to Dahua Technology AirShield Live Q&A. Today we're going to in fact actually be taking your direct questions on board, and then of course we're going to be focusing on introducing the actual AirShield product range. Okay. Now, we will be streaming out to two sources, which is LinkedIn and YouTube at this time. And of course, this is a live question Q&A. So I think I'm back on. Just stand by for 2 seconds while we just deal with a technical issue. Okay, YouTube's gone. I didn't see anything in LinkedIn, by the way, on my page.
Yeah, don't worry, it's coming through.
Yep.
Okay. Just bear with me. Okay, let's try again.
Okay, audio test. Right, okay. Right, round two. Okay, right, okay, again, everyone. Welcome to Dahua Technology AirShield's live Q&A. Okay, so this is going to be a live session hosted on two links, which will be the LinkedIn and the YouTube channels. Okay, you will be able to ask any live questions at any time in the comments box, and I will in fact actually be able to see them on either side of the platforms. Okay. Now, quick introduction. If you don't know me, my name is Chris Flavelle. I am training manager at Dahua Technology, and of course, I in fact actually take lead roles on all trainings. Okay. Now, today we're going to be in fact actually focusing on Dahua AirShield. Now, we are super excited to in fact actually launch this product range, and we've already seen the product hit the market by storm. We are going at 1,000 miles an hour regarding this particular training. So of course, the training within itself and the product within itself, then of course in this case here, it's the way that it in fact actually integrates with our previous product range. This is in fact actually our unique selling point. Okay, so now we have already received 11 pre-asked questions. So we've received 11 as well. So I'm going to answer those now, and of course we're going to go over to question one, and then at the same time, whenever you're ready, then of course I'm in fact actually going to stop between questions, take a look at the actual portals, and then in fact actually talk about your live questions. So let's in fact actually start with question one. Okay, so what is the key components of the Dahua AirShield system? Okay, so on the actual Dahua AirShield system on key components. So of course, obviously, first of all, we're going to talk about the hub, the thinking machine behind the whole product. Now, when we actually talk about two hubs, we've got hub 1 and hub 2, and of course, they have very different features, different capabilities, different performance ranges. Then, of course, after the actual hubs, then we will be talking about everything that we in fact actually have in the intruder alarm range. So, of course, we do already have detectors, we have door contacts, we have keypads, we in fact actually have external PIR detectors, we also have internal and external sirens, and we also got those other component parts such as relay controls, transmitters, and of course we also have SOS and key fobs. So of course, just like the actual words behind Dahua Technology, a complete solution manufacturer, we also have a complete solution intruder alarm system. Okay, right. Let's pop over to a quick live questions. I already see that they're coming in. So, okay. Please kindly explain more details about the AirShield. Okay, thank you for that. Throughout the course of these 11 questions I'm seeing already, I think we will be able to cover that. Okay, any others? Nope, I think we're good to go. Let's go to question number 2. Okay, how does Dahua AirShield integrate with Dahua products? Now, for me, that is in fact actually my best section. So of course, ever since we created products from the start, from NVRs, from DVRs, IVSS if you really wanted to, and then of course obviously intercom, VTHs, access control, then of course Dahua AirShield is integratable with everything, okay? And the fact that we now have DSS Professional, we can in fact actually link events between product categories very easily to be able to create a complete solution, adding another feature to the Dahua AirShield product range, okay? Now, first of all, we start with the actual NVRs. So if you get NVR EI, so of course our new ones, the replacement of 4KS2s, the baseline firmware, I believe this month will in fact actually bring IoT back. And whenever you upgrade your NVR to that IoT firmware, you will be able to directly add your AirShield product direct into the actual NVR on its local 192.168, and then you will be able to interact with AirShield to NVR, and then of course NVR to AirShield. Also, like cameras, I think our flagship range at the moment is TOC cameras, so our 3-in-1 technology. You can add a TOC camera directly to your AirShield, and in the event that we get those alarms that we love so much, intrusion detection, tripwire, smart motion detection, those type of events, they can in fact actually trigger the sirens on your AirShield to go off instantaneously whenever somebody breaches one of those rules. So of course, question number 2, integrated with products, we can integrate with everything. That is our best opportunity. Other systems out there will in fact actually be recognized as standalone. Dahua AirShield is not. And this is in fact actually a fully integrated intruder alarm system. Okay, let's go back to more live questions. Right. Okay, good on YouTube. Good on LinkedIn. Okay, I think we're good. Let's go over to question number 3.
And there's one on YouTube.
Oh, one just came in. Okay. Can you explain which batteries are used on the individual devices? So the actual batteries are going to be the CR123 batteries on the device. And for the actual whole product range, then of course we have targeted 4 years. So I've in fact actually been playing with all of these products. I've been going all the way around the country. I've had my devices doing sirens, flashing lights, illumination, long range testing, and my batteries are literally at complete full capacity. Okay, so we have targeted a full year using CR123 batteries. Okay, right. Any others? No, I think we're good. So I think we're moving over to question number 3. Okay, question 3. How does Dahua AirShield adapt to different environments and conditions such as varying light or weather? Okay, so of course it sounds to me on that question that people are targeting the external PIR detector, and that will be this device. Okay, so this is in fact actually our new external PIR detector. The device is in fact actually IP65. We in fact actually have a 2.8mm camera, so that's in fact actually a very large field of view. And of course, the f-stop for lighting conditions is f2.0. Okay, we do in fact actually have some live test images of the actual product, and of course, obviously, I suspect we will definitely be doing more live sessions like this. So please always remember to stay tuned with Dahua Technology so we can keep on sharing our experiences with the product. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go say it. Right. Okay, so over to live questions. Can you use a TOC camera as an alarm? Absolutely, you can. So, of course, you can in fact actually link your. We already have a video on this. It will be released on one of the channels. We will ensure to that. You can in fact actually set up your TOC camera. You can have your red and blue flashing lights. You can have your voice, you're under surveillance, or you can have your high pitch frequency audio file. And then, of course, the second that somebody comes into that line, you can have red, blue, siren, and AirShield sirens. Not to mention, you can also, in fact, actually reverse it. Whenever it comes down to AirShield, whenever you add a TOC camera directly to the hub, when you arm and disarm your AirShield, it also arms your TOC camera at the same time. Okay, another one. Can the whole system be integrated in home systems or KNX systems? Now, I'm not too sure about the KNX systems, but I am familiar with home assistants. Now, on the actual home assistants, I know that is a very powerful platform. I have not done that one myself. One of our colleagues here has, in fact, actually got a home assistant system. What we will do is we'd take that question away with us, and then, of course, we'll come back to you at a later time. Okay, good question. Right, any others on here? No, I think not. Okay, so I think we're moving over to question number 4. Okay, question 4. Can you explain home mode and arm mode? Okay, so I think what they were trying to get at there is home mode and away mode. Okay, so yes, the actual devices does in fact actually have 2 modes. Okay, and it's really nice and easy to remember. When you're in home mode, that's whenever you, as the individual, you are home. Whenever it's in away, you all go away. So of course now, I have a couple of devices, so well, I've got actually all of the devices to be honest. But like I have all of the door contacts, I have all of the external PIRs. Now at night, whenever it's time for bed, then of course I will activate home mode. Now I still want to move around freely, so of course like whenever it's in home mode, that means that the actual PIR detectors will not do anything. However, the door contacts will, but I didn't put a door contact on the actual garage door, so I put a PIR detector into the garage. So I deliberately selected that device to be in the home mode profile. So whenever I press on away, everything's on. If you come into the actual field of view or come into a detection range, the alarm will fire. If I'm in home mode, then of course it will be a unique set of devices that if they were triggered, then the alarm will fire. Okay, so of course, like, you know, at 0-100 hours, you know, I want to be able to walk around my house. I want to go and get a refreshment. But of course, obviously, I'm not going to open up any doors at that time. So that's a good example between away mode and home mode. Okay, let's just see if there's any more live questions. Okay, YouTube good. LinkedIn good. Okay, right. Let's go over to question number 5. Right. Question 5. What devices can AirShield control, and what is the point of using this technology with my installations? Okay, so what can it control? Now, immediately on today's date, we already have firmware for the NVRs, such as the EI models. We in fact actually have firmware, so then that way the products can talk directly to cameras, such as TOC, like that previous question. But then of course on the other element of it, also intercom. Okay, so of course, and we've given the opportunity for the actual intercom range to have another opportunity. So now, whenever you have your VTO outside, you press the button and your VTH upholds the internal call. Now you can go to your VTH and you can arm and disarm your actual AirShield equipment, as well as you can see all of the statuses of the actual information. And of course, you can in fact actually see battery status, temperature status. You can in fact actually do individual zone arming if you wish to. So of course, in this case here, that's another opportunity to in fact actually better your installation, opposed to just having a whole load of standalone systems. Complete integration on the Dahua product range will in fact actually give you a massive opportunity with the installs. Okay, let's go to live questions. Whoa, well, okay. Right, okay, there's a few here now. Right, okay, so do door and window contacts have a vibration sensor? So like if you bang on the window, it will set the alarm off. Okay, so first question, good question. So if you use a Dahua Door Contact Plus detector, then of course that in fact actually supports tilt and vibration. Vibration to the actual door will in fact actually then trigger the actual device. It also has a tilt feature for doors that are concertining, where the magnetic field is still close to each other, but they are separating. And then, of course, obviously, a actual tilt feature whenever you, in fact, actually are raising angles. So, of course, that is the actual Door Contact Plus. Okay, next. To comply with the NSR regulations, will you be bringing out an LCD display keypad? So LCD display keypad, yes, we will. In fact, actually, I have something in the way of that. So the LCD keypad, that is scheduled for the 9th of this month. Okay, so that will be the Dahua AirShield LCD keypad, the 9th of this month. Sorry, the 9th of this year. I could read 9th of the month. Okay, 9th of this year. Okay. Right, next. When do you think trading certification will start for AirShield? Now, actually, on that one there, we already have that covered. So let's see. We are over here. Okay, so our product range, the whole AirShield product range, complies to grade 2. And of course, we already have covered the EN 50131 certification and accreditation. Okay, that this has already been achieved. Okay, we are constantly going to be improving on that as products improve on that. But then, of course, obviously, we will ensure that, of course, obviously, equipment will in fact actually remain and will be compliant. Okay, is there any others? No. Okay, good there. Let's see over here. Just check LinkedIn is working. Okay. Right. Okay then. Okay, I think we're on to question number 6. Okay, question 6. Can you give examples of how AirShield can work with other Dahua devices? So I definitely can do that in this particular case. So at my house, I have in fact actually set up intrusion detection after 2300 hours in the front garden. If you were to come into the actual area after 2300 hours, the actual intruder alarm detection will inform my internal siren immediately, and then of course the alarm will go off and I would know that somebody is outside. It's all very well having the actual, bells and whistles on the outside of the property, but what about the actual people on the inside property? How would you know? Possibly a push notification. However, if someone is asleep, then of course I imagine not. So of course in this case here, then of course I have that set up. Because I in fact actually live backing into a forest, then of course in my particular case here, if anybody was to get into the back garden after 2100 hours, then of course that then will in fact actually trigger my external siren. And I would hope that if that was to ever happen, then of course obviously that type of siren and the sound that it has will in fact actually deter them, and they could then they will of course obviously move on and go away. Okay, so of course I have a couple of examples like that. I have set up one particular example where we used the SOS button. So of course the SOS button can be used in many elements. However, though, this particular request was nice and easy. They said, right, okay, whenever I press the SOS button, I want 5 of my TOC cameras to flash red and blue simultaneously, so then that way if I see something unfolding outside, I will press my SOS button, and then hopefully with all of those red and blues, they will go away. So of course, yeah, we do in fact actually have a couple of examples. We also have more examples on the official Dahua UK and Ireland YouTube channel. Okay, right, do we have any other questions? Okay, I think we're fine. Right, moving over to question number 7 then. So, why leak detection? Okay, now that is actually a good question. So why do we have a leak detection whenever the product range is in fact actually, you know, intruder? Well, in this case here, we're calling it intruder, but the actual name of the product category is alarm. And in this case here, that is just another opportunity that we have to raise your attention to another problem or potential problem within the property. And we have had examples where a leak detector would have been perfect whenever, like, your daughter leaves the tap running and then, of course, you're about to literally flood your house. So, of course, like, had that, in fact, actually had been installed, then, of course, we could have, you know, deterred from a major situation. I do have the leak detector myself. This is the actual leak detector. We have 2 of them. We in fact actually have one where you can actually raise the sensor to a higher level. Then of course we have the other one where it's just all in one, and of course you just put it on the floor. I in fact actually have put this on the floor, and it went behind the dishwasher and the washer machine. And of course obviously fate had it, the washing machine pipe did leak. And of course the siren did go off. And of course I recorded everything. And of course it worked perfectly. That was an early warning system for me, and of course, like immediately, mobile app notification, leak detection. I went straight to the device, and yes, it was leaking. So of course, you know, I'm already liking that product because it's happened to me personally. Okay. Right. Over to live questions. Is it compatible with door access so you can use face recognition to disarm an alarm upon entry to the building? Okay, so disarming and alarming with AirShield, yeah, I suppose you could in fact actually do that. You can rig it, but not so much face recognition to arm and disarm. Okay, you can do the arming and disarming, but yes, you could in fact actually rig it with various elements. So, for example, if I went into the room, nothing would happen because it's me. If one of my staff members went into the room and of course they were in the stranger list or in the denied list, then of course obviously with a special configuration with the assistance of DSS, then of course the internal siren will trigger, because in this particular case here, you shouldn't be in there. So of course, yeah, we can in fact actually do some elements to that. So yes, that is a possibility. Okay, any others on the YouTube or LinkedIn? No. I think we're okay. Okay, right. Moving over to question number 8. Why AirShield? Why wireless? Okay. Okay. So, being an installer myself for 17 years, then of course, in my particular case, then of course, it's all about the wireless. The days of, you know, multi-alarm cable, and then of course, obviously, you know, potentially damaging a new build, you know, having to wire that up, then of course, it is so much more better going wireless. You know, like, I know that there, of course, obviously are risks to going wireless, but not here, there's not risks, because all of this equipment, we in fact actually do the 868, so that is a better, more secure Wi-Fi security, and then of course we have the encryption of 128-bit AES. So of course, yes, it's wireless, but it's safe at the same time. So of course, like there's no way to get into that. No way. RF jamming possibly, but you're not getting into the encryption because we are completely secure. So of course, as of which, then of course, obviously in this case here, let's just use the Wi-Fi, get the actual installation in, make it neat, tidy, quick, and then of course, obviously the product will then make it efficient within itself. So of course, and why AirShield? Well, for me to have that opportunity and that luxury of in fact actually having my MVR, my intercom, my access control, and now my intruder alarm system all controlled under one DMSS app. Well, that's what we always wanted. I don't want to in fact actually set up various devices at my house and then use 4 or 5 apps. I just want one app, and of course most people will want one app. So that is a damn good reason why AirShield, because obviously it's integratable. Right, back off to live questions, if any. Okay, I think we're good there. LinkedIn. I think we're good there. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. Right, okay. Moving over to question number 9. Okay, question 9. How is it different to other intruder products on the market? Okay, now I have in fact actually installed a wide range of different intruder alarm systems, some from, like amateur units to professional units. And one way or another, my personal feeling is on it is that I in fact actually found other intruder alarm systems to in fact actually be simply standalone, which means that you've got your hub, or you've got your clever box, you've got your thinking device, you've got a mobile phone app, possibly sometimes 2 apps. But in this particular case here, then of course it's standalone. The integration between communication between the hub and a phone, that's pretty much about it. I've never actually experienced as good of a intruder alarm system than the actual Dahua AirShield, only simply because what other products it can connect to. Like in my property, I have it linked to anything and everything. Whenever I go out the side of the front door, I have a chime feature. Whenever I'm using DSS Professional and I in fact actually open up the front door, that links to a 8 megapixel TOC camera. That then sends the DSS a signal to come up with a pop-up screen so I can in fact actually see. So that was AirShield, CCTV or video surveillance, and then DSS, VMS management. So of course, in this case here, 3 components that happen with a response time of 1 second. I don't know of any other product range that in fact actually has such an in-depth integration as much as the actual AirShield does. So of course, in this case here, where do we differ? Lots of systems out there will be standalone. AirShield is not. Okay, right. Any other live questions at this time? Okay, LinkedIn good, YouTube good. Okay. Okay, question number 10. Wow, okay, this is a big question. Right. How to manage AirShield wireless alarm system? Right, okay, now that is a good question. So, now, that will be the introduction of DoLink, okay? Now, we in fact actually have DMSS for the end users. We then in fact actually have DoLink for the installers, and it will work out kind of like this. Whenever you install the actual AirShield equipment, as an installer, you're going to need to obviously scan QR codes. You're going to need to be putting in, the devices into the main hub. Whenever you're finished, then of course you're going to in fact actually lend or deliver the actual AirShield to the end user's DMSS account. Okay, and then of course it will come up in the mailbox at the bottom of DMSS being said that your installer has provided you with an intruder alarm system. Do you approve or you deny? You're going to click on approve. Okay, so communication number 1 is then done. As an end user, you will in fact actually have opportunities to arm, disarm, and SOS, and maybe a very small amount of configuration. If it in fact actually was a configuration that in fact actually had some changes to the operation of the device in a more dramatic level, then of course it will most likely come up with access denied, because you have a installer to do that for you. Now, if you then use your DMSS or use your telephone as a end user, contact your installer and say, hey, I want the chime feature, or I want the 15-second entry time to be 20-second. Please modify for that for me. Whenever that person, the installer, tries to make a change, it won't let him or her do it immediately. In fact, actually, it will say, would you like to make changes? And of course, the actual installer would say yes. The DMSS end user will get a notification to say your installer is trying to make a change. Do you allow this change? And then, of course, you can put a time frame on it: 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, long term. Then, of course, obviously, whenever you press 1 hour, then, of course, it will inform your installer you've been granted permission to, in fact, actually allow to make modifications for 1 hour. He or she is then going to make that modification, and then, of course, when done, the end user will get a notification that he or she that no longer has control, and of course, obviously, there was a configuration made. So then that way, whenever you do, in fact, actually have a installer, you're putting the weight on them with their DoLink account, and of course, the DMSS end user possibly can't make too many changes, which means that they can't damage the system. They can't, in fact, actually make a change and then, of course, oh, I did something wrong, I need to call somebody, because they won't likely have the granted permission. So, of course, it just keeps everybody in check. And, of course, to make sure that we're on the right side of the things like the GDPR, then, of course, this back and forth questions will, in fact, actually go forth between DoLink and DMSS, just so that way everybody knows what is going on and who has control. If you do not have an installer and you're not going to be doing DoLink, then of course I guess what we will be doing is we will just in fact actually be doing a DMSS account and adding it direct to it. Okay. And then of course if you're adding your DMSS directly to this, then of course it probably isn't an installer. And of course obviously you're just using it for yourself, and of course you have arming and disarming and complete control. Okay, so two major options there of how you are in fact actually gonna install and take care of the wireless alarm AirShield system. Right, that was a big question. Okay, let's go over to live questions. Let's see if there is any. Okay, LinkedIn okay. YouTube okay. Okay, let's go to next. Right, our final question. I think we're on question 11. Okay, question 11. Okay, will Dahua limit alarm to wireless technology? Okay, so will we limit to wireless technology? So on that answer, no, we will not limit to wireless technology. So in the coming months, let's get a date. Very soon, I think. Yes, the 6th of 2024, we will in fact actually have the multi-channel input expansion module. This unit will consist of 16 dry signal inputs, 4 dry contact outputs. It will also consist of RF, so radio frequency, wired networking technology, and it would also support a 12-volt power supply with auxiliary power outputs also. Okay, so of course, no, it's not going to be a complete wireless device. You will be able to have that opportunity where all of your 8-core multi-alarm cables terminate to one particular location, just like on a historical alarm installation. You can take out the actual previous brand and then, of course, put in your multi-channel input expansion module, connect it to your hub, and then, of course, whatever was wired before now becomes wireless. And then, of course, you can go back to using the original technology. Of course, obviously, whenever you have devices like that, it's not necessary, or sometimes actually not easy to, in fact, actually replace the devices that are already there, because there's a chance of you making a mess of the environment. So, of course, yes, the multi-channel input expansion module will be available, and then, of course, connecting directly to the hub. Okay, right. Over to live questions. Okie dokie then, right. So it looks like on this one, can IT support third-party detectors? Yes, it can. So can it, so IT, can it support third-party detectors? Yes, it can. So of course, we in fact actually have the transmitter, and the transmitter comes with the CR123 batteries, and it also puts 3.6 volts out, because most third-party detectors also do around about that range. And then of course it goes straight into the alarm input. So if you got like a management box or a DIY box, you can in fact actually install it directly next to your current PIR detector, put the actual transmitter on the inside, and then of course that will connect wirelessly on the 868, and then immediately, then of course obviously you can use the existing technology. Are there any others? Let's go back to this page here. No, no. Okay, right. Okay then, so I think that's my questions on my side all done. And of course, I'm just waiting for any other final questions on the actual live to come in. So, on a third party note, guys, we will in fact actually be exhibiting all of the AirShield technology in Birmingham at the TSC Security Event Show. And in this case here, we are going to be at stand 5 F90. On the day, we will be there for the full duration. AirShield will also be there for the full duration as well. So if you have the ability to visit in Birmingham, then of course we will be there. And then of course, obviously, then you can see it yourself. In the meantime, also, then of course, we will also be pushing onto more demonstrations. So keep tight on the Dahua official YouTube channel, because obviously more videos will be going up frequently. You'll probably notice that there's quite a large playlist there already. Right, questions? Okay, will there be a GSM backup module for Ethernet to add to the build, add on or built in? Okay, so good question. That is in fact actually built in. So Hub 1 and Hub 2, whenever you get a 3G, 4G model, then of course you would in fact actually notice that we have the Ethernet connection for wired connection. The device is already Wi-Fi to existing Wi-Fi communication, and we have two SIM cards completely unlocked to any brand, and then of course obviously you can use that also. If you actually get a Hub 2, you can actually use all forms of communication simultaneously to ensure that device is in fact actually always online. Okay, so good question. Do you have a demonstration bell box? Okay, not right now. Okay, we don't have a demonstration bell box, but they are of course obviously on the YouTube channel. Okay, how does price compare to competitors? Okay, now that's quite a question. Well, okay, now when it comes down to price, guys, then of course, obviously, seek out your purchasing channels for the actual prices of your actual products. Ensure that, of course, obviously, that you keep to approved distributors and approved resellers. And then, of course, obviously, you will in fact actually be able to get the best price. I don't know too much about numbers. I'm more of a 192, 168 person. However, though, I do understand that it's in fact actually competitive to other products on the open market. Right. I think we're coming into an end on this. Okay, is there anything left out? Any more Q&A, guys? Okay. Okay, so let me just share one more moment with you guys, which is just a personal insight from myself. You might see on the LinkedIn channels that, of course, obviously we tested the external PIR detector. And of course, this is in fact actually a high definition PIR detector. So of course, this takes the industry by storm. This is in fact actually a 2.1 megapixel camera based on a 4.3 ratio. And just doing some testing just over the weekend, Tuesday, I think it was. Then, of course, I was able to, in fact, actually test the actual snapshot imaging up to 1,130 meters in length using this device in an open air test. So of course, like we know that some of the product ranges won't be able to do such a large distance, but of course, obviously, our external PIR detector, which is available in May, this in fact, this product here, this in fact actually is going to be a real game changer to those open air installations, you know, potentially construction sites whenever you need to go long distance, rapid deployment definitely. So of course, and of course like rapid deployment, and of course you get your 12-volt version of your Hub 2. So of course, my personal opinion, which is only a couple of days old, I think it only happened on Tuesday, then of course obviously this is in fact actually going to be a big opportunity for the open market and the alarm market. Right. I think we're there, guys. I think we're done. Okay, right. I'll give a few more seconds, guys, for any more open questions, and then alternatively, we'll start the closeout procedure. Okay, done. Okay, guys, right. We're going to close this out now. So, of course, thank you for attending this Q&A session for the Dahua AirShield product range. And then, of course, obviously, stay tuned. You've got the LinkedIn channel. You've got the YouTube channel. More content will be coming up freely. And then, of course, as of which, then, of course, keep close to your purchasing channels. And, of course, then you will be able to get your products. It is taking the industry by storm. And, of course, obviously, with that integration level. So, of course, good luck. And, yes, well done. Thank you for attending today. Okay, all the best.